What these people fail to consider is that I am just a messenger, and the discontent is not because I've been able to hypnotize, millions of Americans into coming to these conclusions. The material realities are causing them to come to these conclusions in spite of the 100 years of anti-socialist, anti-communist messaging that has basically been invented here in the United States of America and successfully implemented around the world. My point always is, even if I go away, there will be someone else that carries that torch. And even if I go away, I'm not responsible for the entirety of this movement. How did it feel getting called out by Vance? I'm used to it, man. I think it's very stupid. I think it's a sign of the times. I don't know. There's not really too much to talk about. I know that like all the dumbest people who, especially on the right, and even some who fancy themselves to be on the liberal side of politics, will laser in on this kind of stuff and not recognize that it is a mechanism of distraction. That's all this is. Still think you're not relevant in the real world political landscape, though? I mean, I guess I am. I am definitely more relevant than I give myself credit. And the only reason why I'm relevant is because of you, the viewers. That's it. But ultimately, I guess the vice president in this modern media landscape, knowing who I am, is not that crazy, considering that I'm the largest left content creator in North America, again, because of you, the viewers. But going to the lengths of knowing the minutia of like knowing the internet smear campaigns and things like that, and like bringing that up is very stupid. American politics has gotten stupider and stupider, is what I mean. But it does show me that at least a lot of people that hold institutional power do see what I do as a threat now more than ever, which is worrisome. But I guess if I were to look at the positive side of this, if I were to look at why this is happening, I would say that it's because the ideology of socialism, which is threatening to people in positions of power, the capitalists, is growing amongst the masses. People are less restrained about calling themselves socialists. People are more sympathetic to socialism. People are less sympathetic to capitalism than ever before. And I think that is somewhat terrifying to the capital owners. And I mean, it's not a secret that Elon Musk, who is the wealthiest capitalist on the planet, has put the beat on me on numerous occasions. It was only a matter of time that JD Vance, the vice president, would also bring me up. Former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, has spent a decent bit of time bringing my name up in the campaign against Zohran Mamdani. So I guess it's only a matter of time until Trump does the same. They think, oh, if we tackle some of the loudest voices, maybe others will think twice. And sure, that might hamper the organizational tools that leftists have to a certain degree, but it won't stop the discontent, because the anger and the resentment people feel towards the institutions is real. And as long as things don't change on the policy side, people are only going to get more and more angry. My job, or what I think I do decently well, is to redirect that anger towards those who are actually contributing to it, people who hold the levers of power. That's all I can do. I can't make people feel better about their financial predicaments, no matter how hard I tried. I mean, I choose not to, because that would be lying anyway. But at the end of the day, people feel the way that they do because their pockets are hurting. People feel the way that they do because rent is increasingly unaffordable. People feel the way that they do because their wages are shitty. And not only are their wages shitty, but a big chunk of those shitty wages go directly back to their rent. People don't feel like they're going to be able to ever own a home or retire at a reasonable age. And the suffering gets worse day in and day out, especially with neither party presenting a viable alternative, one that seeks to address the issues that people are experiencing. So Republicans can keep hitting the culture war narratives over and over again. They can try to come after people like myself, but that's not going to make the random guy living in West Virginia feel better about the fact that there is not a single rural hospital in 100-mile radius that he can go to if, God forbid, something horrible happens. That person has a valid reason to be angry. And maybe in that anger, he's voted for Donald Trump because he thought Donald Trump will actually shake things up. But eventually, as I always say, even the dumbest guy knows when he's being fucked. Maybe it'll take time, but eventually that person will realize, okay, Trump represented a promise of change and that change didn't come. And the things that he actually focused on did not actually improve my situation at all. It seems like he's just in the pockets of the very same billionaires that he said he was going to depose. That is going to happen whether or not I am here, or whether I have passed away, or whether I've been jailed, or whether I've received so much reputational damage that I just say enough is enough, I'm done. Fuck this. Now, those things are not likely to happen regardless. Having said that, however, I'm just one person. Taking me out of the equation is not going to change the dynamic, because as long as these problems remain, people will still be angry. It's that simple. This is directly related. Let's take a look at what Nick Fuentes said and then what Asmongold said.
Maybe this is controversial, but they have to crush the other side.
That's right. Oh, that's right. 100 fucking %.
They have to, because you can do one of two things. You cannot challenge the left.
That's
and
right.
let them do their thing.
And then they're going to just run you over, and eventually when they get power, they're going to crush you.
Or you can utterly confront them and defeat them. And
you destroy them completely. Destroy everything about them. Put the mayors in jail. Put the governors up on the Insurrection Act for sedition. Put all the people that were doing the shit in front of the detention centers. Put them in mandatory prison labor camps. Any of them that are violent, authorize the police officers to respond with violence to them. Immediately, completely shut it down. Bring in the military if you need to. Bring in the National Guard. Do whatever you need to do. Look and find out who's funding this. Take those people, charge them with incitement for terrorism, put them in Guantanamo Bay. Like, I'm talking about scorched earth, Old Testament. Get them the fuck out.
I mean, what can you say? This is what a weak person does, okay? When you're weak, you want the government to exercise power against those you have ordained as your enemies. That's it. He is demanding that the government do this violence. It's extra annoying because I know he stutters when he orders at a restaurant. Yeah. This is a somewhat agoraphobic individual who is terrified of taking showers, talking a big game about like violently throwing into work camps, labor camps, gulags, the political opposition of the administrative state. And I mean, this is literally how people like Asmongold and many others think China operates, right? That's what this is. This is objectively un-American, at least in theory and in principle as well. That's all it is. I do find a lot of this to be repulsive, and I do think that the average person, like, I'll keep it $1.50. If Asmongold had the same level of scrutiny from the same dedicated smear campaigners that I have, or even a fraction of the attention, he would be ritualistically humiliated on the timeline. Now, obviously, he is incapable of feeling shame. That's why he constantly promotes the fact that he doesn't shower, even hypes up and embellishes how little he cares about drinking water, for example. Like, he's exaggerating. Like, he knows that that's like a marketable position for a lot of the people that also exhibit his lifestyle, that spend every waking moment online. He likes it. He likes when people go crazy over this stuff. When he says like, oh, I'm not showering because it's like fucked up my evolution or whatever. The reality of the matter is he's been able to carve out a place for himself without actually getting a lot of scrutiny from the broader public. Most people don't know who the fuck he is, but people online who spend every waking moment online do know who he is. You're better than doing an ad hominem, man. Brother, an ad hominem would imply that I'm name calling him. Nothing I said about Asmongold so far is something that he hasn't divulged himself. The reason why you think this is actually like name calling him is because you also are kind of embarrassed by the fact that your favorite content creator or someone that you frequently watch has horrible hygiene practices that he unironically presents and promotes as a positive. That's it. He says he lives in filth, and it's a part of his like marketing. It's a part of his brand. I see a lot of people actually looking at that and saying, well, this guy is like a multimillionaire and he still lives in the same house. He still lives in filth. Obviously, he's just doing it because he's earnest. He's doing it because this is what he truly believes. He's doing it because this is something that he cares about. He's honest. That's how they see it. No, straight up. A lot of people on the internet that spend every waking moment online and very rarely go outside look to Asmongold like he is their Christ-like figure, their savior. You don't get to see these people in the wild because many of them don't actually go outside. Okay? It's the same reason why a lot of people still look at, Warren Buffett and the fact that he still has like a modest home as opposed to how much money he has as a symbol that like Warren Buffett doesn't care about wealth like that. Even though the only thing about Warren Buffett that's relevant or worthwhile or the only impact he has is that he is a guy with tremendous amounts of wealth. Why is he a Christ-like figure? I'm not saying he is. I'm saying that a lot of people who have similar living conditions and similar opinions to him look to him as like a beacon of truth. Now, the reason why, and I keep repeating this, the reason why he's been able to get away with a lot of this is because the many different forces that actually would work to criticize whatever the fuck Asmongold is saying and whatever the fuck Asmongold is doing is far too predisposed smearing someone like myself. That's just the reality. I am seen as a more visible target because like if he received a fraction of the scrutiny with the negative framing that I experience with regular frequency, when normies would have to encounter Asmongold for the first time ever, they would react with revulsion. And they would be like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen. Most people just don't know. That's it. See, I watch Zach often while acknowledging that he's not a good role model doesn't mean he isn't authentic. Yeah, people genuinely believe that he is authentic, not realizing that none of the things that he actually promotes is long held beliefs. He doesn't give a shit. He knows he's grifting and you guys are too stupid to recognize it, but it doesn't matter because you agree with him anyway. You agree with the way he presents these issues, but that's it. Why is he bad? I don't know. Did you just not hear what he said? He just said Donald Trump should throw mayors in gulags. If all that he wants were to happen, his lifestyle would be destroyed, he knows. No, I don't think so. I think the only thing that would destroy his goals and his ambition is a broad pendulum swing back in the direction of normal politics, back in the direction of progressive politics. And that would probably cause him to actually restrain himself and maybe even change the way he presents his political worldview. Just as many of these people that are seemingly sympathetic to right-wing politics back in the peak woke in the 2020 era were throwing up the black fist on the timeline talking about Black Lives Matter. It is what it is. It's not the first time that I have encountered in my career someone who presents themselves as a centrist while taking the maximalist position on the right. As a matter of fact, many of the most successful conservative commentators have come from this background. Jordan Peterson presented himself as a common sense liberal who was simply going against some of the edge cases of progressivism. We all know that Jordan Peterson is a conservative now, but for many years, people yelled at me. Same with Tim Pool. Tim Pool did the same, claiming that he was a liberal that constantly found himself enamored by Donald Trump. Tim Pool was a right-wing conservative, and yet he kept presenting himself as a centrist liberal. Dave Rubin, someone who I worked with at the Young Turks and knew very well, also did the same. So it's not new. A lot of people have done this, and a lot of people will continue to do this, okay? Grifting to the right is profitable. And not only is grifting to the right profitable, grifting to the right also creates an immediate audience for you because right-wingers don't really care. As long as you're saying the right things, that's all they want to hear. They want to hear you say Donald Trump is based. It's that simple. And it's quite simple. It's quite simple to do this. It's not a very difficult thing. It's not a very difficult path at all. You have an automatic audience that will tune in, okay? I think Asmongold has always had a lot of right-wing sentiment, a lot of right-wing opinions, and some liberal opinions, maybe even some leftist opinions. But he saw the gravy train and the relevance that he could garner by leaning into Trump's popularity. Okay? That's it. And that's what he's been doing. And that's what he will continue to do. Jesus fucking Christ, you and your charitability, man. This is not being charitable. You guys do not understand the words I am using. I don't think you understand it. This isn't about being, first of all, I'll be charitable all the time to everyone, regardless. But there is nothing that I've said here that says Asmongold is like a good force for American politics. He does not have firm commitments. This is not me softballing what he is saying. When I say he's a grifter, I'm not saying that because I'm being charitable to him. When I say he's a grifter, I'm saying that because it's the truth. And if the pendulum were to swing back to a woker environment and he realized that his audience was cratering because of the impressive amount of shame and social stigma associated with carrying the torch for this objectively unpopular and violent political movement that we know as MAGA, then he would soften his approach 100%. He would tamper down on this kind of sentiment. That's it. There is a reason why he also refuses to engage with people like myself. It's because he knows if we were to have a conversation, he would look ridiculous because he's not very knowledgeable on the issues that he speaks of. And he needs to maintain his reputation. A lot of the politics of the likes of Asmongold and even his community is still broadly vibes-based. A lot of the politics of the average Americans are broadly vibes-based. They don't actually come from serious convictions or a vision for a change. Reactionary politics don't operate off of that. Reactionary politics is just vibes-based. Right now, a lot of right-wing sentiment is shared commonly online. And those who actually oppose right-wing sentiment and have an approach towards tolerance, an approach towards emancipation for all groups, they're destroyed. They're seen as grifters. I'm seen as a grifter at a time when it's infinitely more marketable to be right-wing. You and Zach actually agree on many issues, but you will never know because it's more lucrative to y'all to talk about and around each other instead of directly to each other. I have not really talked about Asmongold, despite the fact that he's the largest political content creator on this platform for the past couple of months. In the process of me not talking about Asmongold, I'm willing to bet that he has done at least one, if not 3 videos a week about me. I've also said, by the way, this is unimaginably parasocial. You and Zach, like you guys are besties, dude. I've also said multiple times that I would talk to him directly if necessary, if he wants to do that, on any number of different issues. I think for every normal position that he has 10 repulsive ones that he promotes with regular frequency. Come on, the bot saga exposed that he's not as popular as he seems. I mean, he's still pretty popular on YouTube especially.